What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Wednesday, the hump day, October 16th, 2024. Struggling through it. Neighborhood looks like a war zone. Everybody just threw all their shit that got flooded right into those streets. It's just out there. So, anyway, it's weird. It just looks like shit outside. That doesn't even include the golf course that they take down multiple trees from the hurricane. So this was much worse than the hurricane from a few weeks ago. Anyway, hopefully that there's a system out in the Atlantic coming our way. Hopefully that decides to go elsewhere. I'm about done with the storms for this year. All right, so let's get into it. Enough pissing and moaning about hurricanes and weather and shit. All right, today, first, I got a PSA. I hope this reaches everybody in Buckeye Nation. I know it won't, but if you could pass this little word along, I'd appreciate it to your friends, family, people who might be doing this. It's a public service announcement. When you are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media application, and you attack a player or a coach of your team that you cheer for, recruits and their families notice that. They take note. I just want to put it out there. I see the Sanchez family commenting on people attacking Denzel Burke, Buckeye fans attacking Denzel Burke, also Jim Knowles. So Devin Sanchez family's noticing. That means that other recruits' families are noticing. So PSA, just recruits and their families, pay attention to fan bases that attack their own players and coaches. Just keep that in mind. I'm trying to keep this program together, I feel like sometimes. And we got, I don't know if people that attack the players and coaches are actually fans or just want to cause trouble. Could be both. Could be bots from Ann Arbor. Who knows? But let's get into it here. Today's topic, the number one concern for this Buckeye team going into the second half of the season. We're at halftime right now of the season. Going into the second half, we've got some huge opponents coming up. We just had one, I know, but we still got a couple more. And we got some possible surprise opponents that might be better than we thought. So the number one concern for me heading into the second half, let's get into it. So to me, Josh Simmons was the most irreplaceable player on this roster in the starting lineup. There was nobody else I could do without. Maybe a D end, maybe a linebacker. We're loaded there. Corner, maybe you could probably do without a starter there. But starting left tackle, you know, that's important. So how do the Buckeyes handle this loss of Josh Simmons and who is going to replace him? So Ryan Day said on Monday, he reiterated what he said after the game that Josh Simmons is, quote, probably a season-ending injury, unquote. So, yeah, the knee injury he sustained in the second quarter was a non-contact injury. Those are the worst. It always goes bad. It's probably an ACL, something like that. He was taken off the field on a cart. And then Zen Michalski came into the game. Now, Zen, he's in his fourth year. He had 102 snaps total in his first 3 years. So this is his fourth. Before Saturday, he only had 59 snaps so far this year through 5 games. So then Saturday hit, and he was forced into the game in the second quarter. He had 46 snaps against Oregon. So right into the fire. Sorry, buddy. Nobody was banking on this one. Ryan Day said Monday night, quote, I give Zen credit. He was put in a tough spot in a tough environment. He hasn't had a ton of career snaps over there. I thought overall he competed. It wasn't all perfect. We're going to need him and some of those guys to step up for sure. So I agree 100% with everything Ryan Day said. It was a tough environment, one of the loudest stadiums in the country, night game, and it was a tough spot. I mean, shit, middle of the game, it's not even like you're getting the start. It's just suddenly, boom, Simmons is out, you're in. And so the O line played without Simmons for more than half of the game. Then you had right guard Tegra Shabola. He left. He was in and out of the lineup with an injury. So um, Zen didn't really have his best stuff against Oregon, I would say. Not that we've seen his best stuff probably, but Oregon's athletic defensive front and just a loud environment were not a recipe for breaking in a big time, getting reps at snaps at left tackle. So it wasn't a total disaster though. The Buckeyes had 467 yards on the game, put up 31 points. The run game did drop off a lot in the second half. We talked about it yesterday when we went over the defense. 21 carries in the first half. I think it was 12 in the second half. So some of that's on Chipper, not pushing the run game more. But again, if you got a backup left tackle and you got a right guard that's a little wonky, maybe you don't call as many run plays. So anyway, Will Howard, he was pressured on 45.5% of his dropbacks in the second half. It was only 25% in the first half. So obviously the Oregon defensive front took advantage of the injuries and turned up the pressure in the second half. Mahalski gave up 2 pressures against the Ducks, but did not give up a sack. So bright side there. Did not give up a hit on the quarterback, but Simmons had allowed only 2 pressures all season through 5.5 games. But so obviously Zen was pushed into a tough spot. Some guys would have folded in that place, but Zen didn't fold. It wasn't a great performance either, but he held his own, I would say. So I don't have him locked up as the starter going forward in next week's game against Nebraska. But and then the PFF grades weren't great for Zen either. He had the lowest grade of any Ohio State offensive player in the Oregon game. So the injury comes before a bye week, which gives us a little time to work with. Not a lot, but a little. So the staff has this week and next to figure out their next move, what their options are at left tackle. You got Nebraska coming to Columbus October 26th. Then we go to Penn State. So that will not be a whiteout game, though, not a night game. So the next 2 opponents, though, Nebraska and Penn State, have strong defensive fronts. So this is still a concern. Penn State is number 13 in the country in pressure rate. They're always good. Seems like no matter who you change the guys in the jerseys, they still can get after the quarterback. Penn State's also number 1 in stuff rate. That's run plays that are stopped at or behind the line of scrimmage. Then Nebraska, they're number 14 in pressure rate. They are outside the top 70 in the country in the stuff rate. So that's a little bit easier for the run game. I would expect a heavy dose against the Huskers there in the run, but still, both can get after the quarterback. And a left tackle is the quarterback's blind side, right? That's key. So we got to be strong there. We got to find somebody that's not going to be just a swinging gate. The Buckeye O-line is going to have to be ready. So here are the options. Let's get into them. You got Mahalski could keep the left tackle job. That seems like it might be the most obvious and easiest choice. He has the most left tackle reps, and he's up to now 204 total reps in his career. He's been in the program for 4 years. That helps, I think. Keeping Mahalski at left tackle also helps you keep the rest of the offensive line intact without making any other moves, jumbling, moving guys around. So there's that. Then you got you could move 3-year starter at left guard Donovan Jackson to left tackle. He's played some tackle in practice. The staff talked about moving him over a year and a half ago before they got Josh Simmons out of the portal. But Jackson has never played tackle in a game, right or left. He has the length and the athleticism, length, I love length, and athleticism to play tackle. So if they moved him to tackle, the Buckeyes could bring in Austin Sarabeld at left guard. He started the first 2 games of the season, Sarabeld did, at left guard for Jackson when he's going through that hammy injury. The other options here: move right tackle Josh Fryer to the left side. He's now in his 5th year. He's played 22 snaps early on the left side in his career, but he was given the opportunity to win the left tackle job in the spring of 2023 before they got Simmons. And he practiced there a lot, but never really won the job. And I don't think he was a viable option, regardless of whether they got Simmons or not. But the team eventually added Simmons in the portal to play left tackle, so Fryer went back to the right side. So then you got to find a new right tackle if you move Fryer. So right guard, Tegra Shabola, he's played tackle in practice. I think he has a tackle body personally. He's also played both sides of the line. He's never played tackle in a game, though. At 6'6", 327, he definitely has the frame and the build. So if he moved, you could bring in Sarabeld again at the right side to play right guard. And he played right guard against Oregon when Shabola was injured. And he rotated with Shabola in some other games this season when they were kind of reopening that competition at right guard. So Sarabeld has in-game experience. And then you got Sarabeld himself as an option at left tackle. He hasn't played a lot there, but when the O-line group had that flu bug through fall camp early on, he was forced into practicing with the first team at left tackle. So that was for a few days. I know not a ton of experience there, but he has done it. Ryan Day said back in August, quote, Austin moved from guard to tackle a couple times, and even with the ones, he was in there battling his tail off. I think we have built some depth there. So it sounds to me like the staff feels that Sarabeld could be a viable option at tackle. Sarabeld said that playing tackle in camp helped him play with better feet in pass protection, and he's also a quick learner. Saraveld's worked with the starters at both left tackle and left guard during camp, and we talked about his rotation in there, filling in at guard. Then you got so starting Saraveld at tackle would also keep the rest of the offensive line intact without making any changes. Again, probably important. You don't want to go jumbling up and turning this into a freaking puzzle. So last option, I don't think is really viable, but is an option maybe. Freshman Ian Moore, he got some recognition at the end of camp by the staff, but he only has 5 snaps at right tackle, and that was against Western Michigan. So then you got 3rd-year tackle George Fitzpatrick. I don't think he's a real option either. He's played 54 snaps this year, all at the right tackle position. He played 6 snaps at left tackle in 2023, and he's less experienced, and but he is a little more athletic than Mahalski. So you're kind of trading, athleticism for experience. I think experience is key when you're at left tackle. Obviously, athleticism is too, but I think you gotta have experience in there. So plenty of options to work with. It's good. At least we have options, I am surprised that Luke Montgomery isn't being considered at all. I guess he's just an interior guy going forward, guard and center, either side. So he's just super athletic, he played big time basketball and stuff in high school. But anyway, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. No press conferences this week, so we're not going to get any info probably until next week when Ryan Day has his press conference and they talk about what they're going to do. So it's probably going to end up being a bit of a surprise on a week from this Saturday against Nebraska. So we'll see what happens. But that's my biggest concern for this team going forward, replacing that left tackle. You can't put a price on how important a left tackle is to an offense. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Agree, disagree, or are you concerned about something else entirely? That's fine. Hit me in the comments. As always, I appreciate you. Please hit like and subscribe as well, and we'll talk to you later. Go Bucks.